Thank you, Mr. Trone. I would now like to recognize Representative Miller-Meeks for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair Luria, Ranking Member Nails, and all the witnesses. And I appreciate all the questions. And Representative Trone, as a physician, I really appreciate your questions as well, too, and know firsthand about the challenges of both telemedicine and then for disability in-person examinations, having done them. Ms. Curta, in your statement, you recommended that VBA look more closely at certain complex claims such as TBI, Gulf War injuries, and sexual harassment, sexual abuse claims. Why do you think it's important to do that?
Sure. First of all, the VBA contracted examiners, until the last year or so, were not allowed to do certain complex claims, just due to probably an experience factor. And so more recently, these kinds of claims have been opened up to the VBA contractors. And so obviously just training, expertise, knowledge are very important. And so, the data that VBA has collected suggests that contracted medical examiners may find completing the exam reports for these types of exams more challenging than for other more routine exams. And we found that VBA claims processors returned exam reports related to these claim types at about twice the rate as they did for exam reports overall. We also heard from VHA medical examiners that these types of claims can be complex to complete the reports, and also claims processors that we spoke to at the VBA said that they can find these kinds of this kind of medical evidence challenging. So just in general, having to return an exam report to examiners for rework slows down the processing of a veteran's claim. And by not paying special attention to exams that are potentially more challenging, VBA may be missing an opportunity to identify potential examiner training needs and ensure that veterans receive high quality exams.
Thank you. And Mr. McClellan, does the VA intend to implement special focused reviews of these type of exams? And also an additional question, given my sex and being a female veteran, do you also require or strongly recommend a female veteran's preference for a female examiner in the assignment of contracts? Is there any opportunity for that? As I think in some instances, as I've worked with my Wapello County Veterans Director, this is an important issue.
Yes, so I'll address that one first. Yes, the current contracts do allow for a request for a particular gender of examiner to be honored. In addition to that, Congress just passed a law that requires us to expand that somewhat based on a sexual abuse, physical assault, or battery. So absolutely, we do that now as far as the contract, and we're exploring how we can modify the contract to adjust for the recent change in law. As far as the focus reviews, I agree with Ms. Curta that it makes us more efficient if we don't have to return exams to the contractor. The contractor cannot charge the government for reworking it, nonetheless it makes us inefficient when we do that. One clarification, and by the way, we do plan to do focus reviews in the areas that she suggested. We already do focus reviews, so this would just be expanding what we already do. One thing to keep in mind is an exam may be returned for clarification as well as errors. So it's a little bit of a too broad of a generalization to say that we return those for errors. As Ms. Curtis stated, our claims processors find these type of claims challenging as well. So it may be that a claims processor is returning an exam for clarification. And it may be that it didn't have to be returned, or it was appropriate to return it for clarification. And maybe there wasn't necessarily an error. But regardless, yes, doing a focused review of these specific kind of exams to cut back on the rework, I think would be very helpful. We intend to do it.
Thank you. And Madam Chair, do I have another minute for a quick question?
Certainly, I can yield you another 2 to 3 minutes. I think this is an important topic, and you're pursuing along a good line of questioning. So we'll also offer an opportunity to other members if they'd like additional time after you're done.
Thank you so much. I'm deeply appreciative. I've been an examiner for the American Board of Ophthalmology, and so my question to you, Mr. McClanahan, comes, I'm familiar with this topic. So in the VFW, of which I'm a member, raised in its testimony the story of a veteran who felt uncomfortable attending their disability exam because it was located in a hotel and the important details such as the name of the physician were not provided. So can you detail whether the contracts specify where the contract may be held and the provider that'll be providing the contract so that we can assure that our members feel safe attending their disability exams. And I understand sometimes the facility is all that's available, but if you could address that, I would appreciate it. A brief time, please.
Yes, I was surprised to see that myself since we haven't received those type of complaints since about 2012. Contract currently says that the exam has to be held in a contractor facility, in other words, a brick and mortar that the contractor has, the provider's place of business, so it's a local doctor in their clinic, or another place that's authorized by VA. So I'm surprised to see that. Anybody that runs into something like that should contact us and we'll look into it.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair.